Today I'm going to be looking at the Deluxe BB-8 figure from Jakks Pacific. This is part of their Big Figs Deluxe line, which I'm not really familiar with, but I believe it's just their 31-inch scale figures with some additional features like lights and sounds. This one, of course, as it says on the package, has lights and sounds. If we want to look at the rest of the packaging, there's not a lot on this side, just has the Force Awakens artwork, but on the back we have a more detailed explanation of its features. It says head spins manually, 18 inches tall, we'll see about that, spring-loaded arm, flashing lights, and 6 unique sounds. And then it goes into a little more detail about how to use the extendable arm, which we'll look at in a little bit. Now you may recall that I reviewed the non-deluxe version of Jakks Pacific's R2d2 figure, which we will compare with this in a little bit. But before we do that, let's go ahead and take him out of the box and see what he looks like. So here we have him out of the package. I will note that about the packaging that he's tied in pretty securely with 3 thick zip ties, as well as some tape and stuff, and it's going to be quite a challenge to get him out of that package without destroying it, if that matters anything to you. I don't really care in this case, so I just ripped it open. Now, one thing I was curious about when I couldn't tell while I was in the packaging is how they were going to make him stand up, because obviously he is just a ball with a head on it. And if you make a figure like that, it's going to be falling over constantly. What they've done is to include some removable little legs. Maybe these are, I don't know, they look kind of like the things that BB-8 shot out to stabilize himself while he was on the Millennium Falcon. I'm not sure if these are actually accurate in any way, but they're fairly unobtrusive. And they allow him to stand up. So these legs were packaged separately in the package, and they also had these antennae. 2 of these were separately packaged, just because they would probably gotten ripped off or broken or whatever in the store. And if we press the button on the top, you can see that he says quite a bit of stuff, whatever it is he's saying there. And lights flash, and they stay on for some time after you press the button. I suppose that's the main difference with the Try Me mode and regular mode, is that the lights stay on. I don't know how long they actually stay on in normal mode. Maybe we'll be able to find out. In terms, oh, there they went. Looks like about 20 seconds maybe. Let's give it another push. And one thing you may notice is that in addition to there being a light behind his eye here and on his head, there are also lights all around the body. If I turn it around, you can see there's a light. There's a light on his tummy, I guess you'd call it. And there's a light over on this side. There's also a little label here that says that that's the battery cover, which I'll be taking off, but just so you know. So this Try Me sticker is actually fairly stubborn. There, I got it out. There's a little residue left behind, which I'm going to have to try and clean off. Same goes for this one. It's going to be a little tricky to get off, and I'm reluctant to use something like Goo Gone because I think it might take off the paint. I'm going to have to work on that. This is the best I could do just right at the moment. I may try soaking some water on it, but this is ridiculous. You should not have such strong stickers. I mean, these stickers are something that everyone is going to want to remove, I would think. No one needs the giant battery cover here thing on their BB-8, so a little disappointing. So if we look closer at the head, this is not the kind of head that just attaches magnetically, as some toys have done. I think that would be probably impractical for something like this. But it does have a little bit of range of movement. You can go... Whoops. In a circle like that, you can turn it most of the way around. It stops right there, and then turn it all the way around Yep, stuff's there. So it doesn't have a full range of motion by any means. If you look down here, I think you can barely see that there's a little bit of a neck there. There's a stalk that it rests on. It works okay, but, you know, not really optimal. One other note is on mine, right here, there is what looks for all the world to be a hand touch-up here. Looks like this part of the paint maybe got messed up and someone came in with what appears to be either a brush or something else and just tried to touch it up. I assume that's coming from the factory. This was the only one of these that they had in the store. In fact, this is the only one of these I've ever seen. So to use the extending arm feature, you have to find the right panel, which is this one here, and pop it open with your fingernail, and then finally press in on the spring-loaded arm and it'll come up. Then you have to sort of manually take out the little thumbs-up flame. I was sort of expecting it to be a little bit more of an automatic feature where you'd press a button and it would all just pop out, but still, it's nice to have. Now what I want to do now is compare it to the Jakks Pacific R2d2 figure, which I reviewed previously. As you can see, height-wise, they aren't all that different. R2 is taller, but only by a couple of inches. Now, in the films, BB-8 actually is quite a bit smaller than R2d2. In fact, he should come up to maybe right around here. But I can't really complain that they've made him bigger than that because, you know, what it looks like alone is a lot more important than what it looks like compared to the other droids. And I think probably the average person wouldn't really care one way or the other. They look good together. I think they're both nice figures. If I had to choose, I would probably say, even though the R2d2 over here that I have is not the deluxe version with lights and sounds and moving, you know, moving head, automatically moving head, I might still give the edge to R2 only because, first of all, you know, I like R2 probably better as a character at this point, and his design as a droid is more complex and a little bit more pleasing to me somehow. Maybe it's because I'm making my own R2 at the moment. But yeah, I do quite like this figure. But they're both quite good. Now, price-wise, these originally sold for the same price. The non-deluxe R2D2 was $50, and the BB-8, deluxe BB-8 is $50. I'd say that's not too bad of a price. I wouldn't want to pay much more for it. They do have a deluxe version of the R2D2, as I said, which is something like $70, I think. So you are paying extra for those lights, sounds, and movement. So in some sense, it's nice that they threw in the lights and sounds with the BB-8 instead of making you pay extra for it. Now they are going to be coming out with some more droids in this line. There's going to be a C-3PO, actually two versions of C-3PO. One is the Force Awakens version with the red arm, and there's going to be a, I guess, an exclusive or a, I don't know, some sort of exclusive version. That's the original trilogy version. That is what I would prefer to get, of course. We'll see if I can get my hands on one of those. In the meantime, let me know what you think of these figures, and thanks very much for watching. Looking for videos to watch? Well, I happen to have some. You can watch these two related videos or subscribe to my channel if you want to see all that I have to offer. And also feel free to interact with me on Twitter. I'm at MightyJabba. To use the extending arm feature, first you have to find the right panel, which is this one here. Then use your fingernail to just sort of pop it open, or off in this case. Luckily it does come back on, I think. Let's try that again. Ah! Why are you doing this to me, BB-8?